Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact. Walk in his ways. Tune in to get your mind right. Tune in and let your soul glow. We already hit the top charts, so if you're really ready, let's go. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact. Walk in his ways.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Walking This Way's Impact Was podcast. I'm your host, Furman Jackson Jr., along with my special guest co-host with me again. Once again, she's in the building with me, Miss Sapphire as well. So I'm very excited having her back with me tonight. And we got a very special guest tonight with us as well. Very, very enlightenment here on the podcast, of course. We're going to be talking about sex tonight. Sex is everybody's very favorite topic.
Goodness.
But I just want to know, have we really mastered sex the right way? That's the question that we want to talk about and address. Of course, we do have someone who's certified in that field, of course, and she's going to teach us, she's going to educate us on sex, the art of sex, the meaning of it, mastering everything that we need to master when it comes to our sexuality. Couples, learn about singles as well also. So very excited about tonight's topic, of course. And we are live streaming right now here on Facebook Live, of course. So we are already in the month of November. It is November the 2nd, 2022. We know that this year is gone by. And we're already 11th month. So I want to gotta ask yourself, is I'm at the place where I want to be? I know I was excited about the beginning of 2022. But once that excitement and that emotion went out the way, is I'm in that place where I want to be at? Have I reached that destination, or I'm still stuck in 2021 with that same mind? So remember, we're not changing our mindset. We're still going to repeat the same thing over and over again. And that's what it's going to be about. Before I got on tonight's program, I came across some stuff, and I love reading. I'm an average reader. I love reading books. I love trying to educate myself. And the book I have in my library, The Alchemist, it says this: if you pay attention to the present, you can improve upon it. And if you improve on the present, what comes later will also be better. So that's what we want to focus on tonight. We want to focus right now on the present. That's why we have our guest here tonight. She's going to educate us right now where we at. Not worrying about the future. We want to focus on the present, because if we don't correct the problem when it comes to our sexuality, we're just going to repeat the same thing in the future. So we need to address a lot of this stuff now, so it can be better in the near future. But I'm going to introduce our guest, of course. I guess she's been featured in the Dallas Observer. She's a small business owner, award winner, self-publishing author, featured speaker at Sex Down South on intimacy and chronic illness. And her name is Twilia B Goode. We welcome her here on Walking This Way Impact Voice podcast. We thank you for taking time with your productive schedule. I know I introduced you, but go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience that's hanging out with us here tonight on Walking This Way Impact Voice podcast.
Well, hello. My name is Twilia B Goode, and I'm a certified clinical sexuality coach. And so, yeah, I always talk with my friend.
I see that.
Yes. So, yeah. That's why I asked earlier, what type of show is this? Is it family friendly or,
Why you asked that, but I didn't piece it together.
Yeah,
I didn't either.
I always talk with my dick. So, yeah.
Well,
This is my microphone. So, hey, you can't be scared of it, just
Right,
get out
that's true.
there.
right.
So, yeah, I'm a certified clinical sexuality coach, and my business is A Taste of Sex, Erotic and Intimacy Coaching Services right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I've been in business for about, a year and a half now, actually going on 2 years. So just growing and rebranding, and really excited for sex education classes for 2023. So yeah, thank you for having me on here.
Oh, you're welcome. And like I said, we got questions we want to ask you. This is no conversation, of course. And I know in high school, they had sex education classes when we were in high school. They talk about puberty and all that other stuff. But we don't hear that stuff no more. I don't never hear it no more. But just to talk about what you do, how you guys started, how people come to you for help, for assistance, just to do it the proper way. And I know women are sexual. We know that women are sexual. And I know at times guys get to that point where they stop being sexual, if that's true or not, where they kind of get complacent and stagnant.
Well, so to back up, to give you kind of like context, I started this doing erotic poetry. Just it was a fluke actually. I was just sitting around with my girlfriends and we were talking about whack ass sex, just bad sex.
Right.
And so I just quickly made a poem about it. And then it just, kind of escalated from there. And then so I started writing my poems, mixing fantasy as well as, actual experiences when it came to my sex life. And so I would perform these poems on stage. I'm into kink and BDSM. And so I would dress that part with, my collar, and then I have like a leash and everything. And so at the end of performing, people would be like, you know what? I'm into that too. And it's good to see a person of color who is talking about these things. And so I was like, how can I make this, a business? I enjoy it. And so what do I need to do to truly educate myself on sex? And so the pandemic hit, I'm at home. And so I decided to uh, become certified. And so found an online class, took those courses, and became certified. So I'm really, I really enjoy what I do, coaching couples, coaching singles on overall how to have a healthy sex life. And I talk about your diet. I talk about intimacy, communication, self-pleasure. I talk about how to feel sexually confident. And so that's part of what the classes are like. And so part of that goes into coaching as well when I have my classes too. So yeah, that's what I do.
Man, awesome stuff. Of course, me being a gentleman, so I'm gonna ask Phoenix if she have any questions she want to ask for
Okay.
our future guests.
I think I move in everything in energy, so I'm very excited to meet you. I write poetry, and I have for since I was young, but I've started to do a little erotic poetry and getting to where I'm going to perform it and things like that. But I think it is a very good topic, like as far as business wise, the sexual. So I guess my question would be, what do you feel like is the in couples is the biggest issue with being able to be satisfied?
Ooh, the biggest issue that I've run into, and so the couples that reach out to me, it's a variety. Some, they're dating, or a lot of the couples have been married for like 10, 15 years. They're empty nesters and they don't know each other anymore. The
Right.
kids were holding them together. The kids was that connection. Well, the kids are at the house and you don't know your partner. And so I really focus on intimacy, building that communication back. What does that look like? What does that sound like? Sex starts here.
Yes.
It's really here.
Yeah.
And so when I'm talking to them, it's like, well, what you may have enjoyed 20 years ago, you may not like that now. That may not stimulate you like it used to. But how do you have that conversation with your partner, to convey that message? Your body's changing. You're changing as a couple. And so that's what I really, really find that's the commonality with all of these couples is they simply don't know how to interact with each other anymore. The intimacy is not there. They want it to be there, but they just don't know how to get it back. And so a lot of time talking about that.
Yeah, and I would feel like people would be more reserved to say what their pleasures are. Do you deal with that? And like, I don't want to tell my partner that this is what I want. You know what I'm?
Mm-hmm. I do. And so at the beginning of my coaching sessions and classes, we spend about 30 to 40 minutes just talking, me getting to know them, telling me what's going on. And they, you'd be amazed once people start talking when they've had a little bit of wine or a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit of whiskey, they start to open up.
What's your
And
company?
it's a private setting, so it's they book private classes, so it's just like the three of us, we're talking, and then
Right.
it's like, okay, now we're opening up those layers. Now we're addressing these concerns that you may have been thinking, but did not know how to articulate it to, your partner. And
Right.
so it's like, well, let's just be open. Let's talk about it. But also, when your partner is talking, I'm also, reminding the other party to listen. You
Mm-hmm.
don't need to speak. Just listen. Also, how you're receiving that message is key. What does your body language look like? Your tone of voice. So really, talking to them about that as well so that the other party can speak, share their concerns and what they want to learn. And then we go from there. And a lot of times, it could be some underlying issues that are much deeper than just the physical act of sex.
Right.
It could be something that's happened in the past in their relationship. Maybe there was some type of infidelity. They're trying to overcome that.
They can't stop thinking.
Maybe,
You can't, because I would
yes.
can't get my mental into it, then she doesn't like you. So
Mhm.
it's not going to be that the energies have to match in a sense for it to be
Right,
pleasure. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Exactly.
Incorporate like for singles because I'm single, so like I'm very much and one of the reasons I am is just the energy in a sense as far as being intimate with people in
Mhm.
the world how it is now. It's like people just jump around from here to here and here, and to me it's an act of passion, you know what I'm saying, and it can't
Oh, yeah.
it's been so diminished down to just an act. I am,
Mhm.
commend you on trying to teach people the mental experience and what it's actually meant to be, you know.
It, I really speak about sexual energy, whether you are single, in my singles classes, they come out and we do affirmations, we do
Coming out.
mirror work. And that is, if you aren't familiar with mirror work, that is where we literally are sitting in front of the mirror, looking at our reflection, saying affirmations, speaking life into self. That's huge. And because it builds confidence, but it builds sexual confidence as well.
Right.
And so I talk about that sexual energy, in my blog as I'm teaching couples that sexual energy is so real. And so when you are single and if you're dating and you are sexually active, you are taking in that energy. The
All the
act of sex is if you think of it like it's a light socket, the holes in the socket, and this is the penis going in, that's the plug. It's the act itself is no, it hasn't changed since the beginning of time. But that energy, that current that you receive, especially as a woman, you take all of that. So, my motto is, you don't need to talk to your girlfriends to find out if the guy you're having sex with is right for you. Your vagina will tell you. Why?
and
Because it's
Right.
going to throw your
very
pH balance off at
But
the
you
end
know
of the
what?
day.
I'm glad you brought that up. So y'all know that y'all are sexually attracted to a guy already. You just already know what I'm saying, because some guy, okay, could say stuff, do stuff, but then could turn you out sexually. Was saying stuff that don't make no sense. Here's what I'm saying.
I mean, you have
Uh,
to get to my mental. If I'm not stimulated by you, then I'll know that automatically. Personally, when you're talking to men and you are dating, you meet people, you talk to them. A lot of people have the same conversation, and it becomes kind of repetitory. So to me, it's like people are like, oh, you have very good conversation and your energy, this and that. But it's like it has to go beyond that to get to levels of wanting to be with a person to a point of being sexual. And then in a sense, people are so much of like, oh, I meet you, you're cute, you know what I'm saying? And then wanting to just jump to that point and not understanding what you can build if you connect. I've been, and I like to, I believe in Egyptian mythology and tantric and the connecting of spirit in the acting. You can astro project and reach levels that what it was originally designed for. So it's just like, there's what's the point, you know? And when you go without, in the same sense of you giving your energy out, when you're not, you become where your energy in a sense is in like a, what is it with the large tail, they say that you're standing in, I forget what it's called now, it left me, but it's like you're bringing the energy to you, so you wonder why so many guys are coming at you. You can't move fast in that moment because you're sustaining your energy. Is still, people still feel your sexual energy regardless.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The
it's
sexual energy, or energy, is real at the end of the day. It's what you attract, it's who you attract. It's the vibe that you feel throughout the day. And when it comes to sexual energy, if you are, depressed, or if you don't feel good about yourself, that's going to reflect when you walk, how you talk, all of that, who you attract. When
right.
you are vibing to this high energy and you feel truly good about yourself, and it takes a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. Every day, I wake up and I tell myself these daily affirmations. I'm sexy, I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm articulate, I have these affirmations on loop. And so part of the classes is talking about affirmations with couples. Say affirmations while we're there. Their homework is to write affirmations on a Post-it. Being Mary Jane used to be one of my shows, and she had the affirmations on Post-its on her mirror. I don't know if y'all remember that show with Gabrielle Union, but anyway.
Yeah.
So I have like Post-its of affirmations on my mirror in my bathroom to, so I can remind myself, how great of a person that I am. But when it comes to relationships, you need to have relationship affirmations as well. Even if you aren't with anyone, you want to write down who you want to be with, like those qualities, because that will come to you. Something else that I talk about in classes when it comes to affirmations is when you are having sex and you getting ready to have this orgasm, you getting ready to, to climax, guys getting ready to bust, say that affirmation, it could, whatever that is, say that in that moment, I am deserving of pleasure. I am deserving of passion. Say it right then and there, mentally, like you don't want to be saying it out loud. It probably freak the person out, but, mentally you can say, I am deserving of passion. I am deserving of pleasure, especially if you are with a healthy person.
Okay.
Not toxic dick, toxic coochie. No. That's the whole nother conversation.
Hey, I mean, it makes a lot of sense because, some guys would say stupid stuff. It would say, did you come yet? And
whose is this?
Who is this?
Like, I don't know what.
Is it big? Is it big? And all this other stuff. Why would guys say stuff like that? Is it? I know it has something to do with insecurities, not believing in themselves. Just some dudes could turn a woman off by the conversation, the stuff they say, and it's like, I'm feeling you, but then I'm not feeling you no more. How's that?
Everyone's playbook isn't the same. So when I'm talking to singles, well, this could even, go into couples. What you may have told her or done, like I said before, what you may have done in the beginning of your relationship, she may not like that now. When you are dating, everyone's playbook is different. So if the last woman that you were with, she may like you, kissing on the earlobe or whatever. I don't like that. Like, that drives me insane. I don't want you breathing in my ear. Like, no. I don't want you, like, all of this, like, don't like it at all. But when I know that we're going to take it to that level, I tell them what I like and what I don't like, straight up and down, like 6 o'clock. But you need to have that conversation. You don't need to have the conversation while you're in the moment. That is a conversation that needs to be had way in the beginning, because you need to find out if you're sexually compatible with this person. Especially when it comes to, I teach about kink and BDSM and what that lifestyle is like. Well, if you don't like to be spanked, then I need to know this. If, you don't like to be
Okay, but you
restrained,
just
I
confused
need to
me.
know this
Right.
before I start to tie you up.
So you
I
can,
need
I'm
to.
gonna choke you and you're gonna be scared. That's so hilarious.
Exactly. I need to know these things, but
Or she'll be
I talk
there all
about
the
all
time.
of this because you need to have these conversations.
I
Right.
agree. Go ahead.
No, I just couldn't imagine being in a situation where you're wanting for something, but you don't want to come out of yourself to say that that's what you want, or
Right.
having, it's good to have that, that person, going to those classes and stuff, that you have that medium there to be able to discuss what you want and be open to just say what you want, because I don't want a guy that likes guys. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it makes sense. It makes, because I'm glad we're getting somewhere. So it's important to have open communication. And that's what we want to get to the point. Open communication, be able to talk about everything, lay everything out on the table, because a lot of stuff, people are afraid to address a lot of things. They don't want to talk about a lot of things. It comes off you coming off lying and manipulating someone and just being honest with a person. Let that person know where you at, where you coming from, what you expect, what you don't expect. So I agree with that 1000%. And I know a lot of people are getting to the point where they're becoming open now with communicating to know where this thing gonna go, instead of just keep your mouth closed and then in the spur of the moment get into it, you find out that person been lying you the whole time. That sucks big time.
Well, communication is key with all relationships. When it comes to sexual relationships, with communication, you can make anybody come at the end of the day. Come communication. That's another motto that I have. But it's,
right.
yes, come communication. But with communication comes, first of all, how you're talking to the person, tone of voice, your body language, eye contact. Are you articulating what you want?
Right.
And also, listening, just, taking the time to, okay, let me listen before I chime in. And then what I've learned to say is, okay, what I heard you say is this, to make sure I'm on the right track. Because a lot of times, men and women, we saying the same words, but we're receiving the message differently.
Right.
At the end of the day, we just speak this, it's English, if you will, but it's like we process it differently. And so, I make sure now to say, well, what I heard you say is this. Is that what you said? Okay, great. Saying that can, just solve a world of problems. You're not assuming anything, but you have to know how to effectively communicate. That goes with dating, that goes with friends, family, that goes with being, in a marriage. The communication styles change over the course of time. And so you have to be able to be mindful of that when you are communicating. And when it comes to sex and what you want, you have to be able to sit down and talk to that person and knowing when the time is right to talk to them about that.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about some adult conversation here tonight on the podcast. So if you're watching us right now on Facebook Live, if you have any questions, of course, put a Q in the comment section. Let us know if you have any questions. What's Twila? She's a certified coach. She's certified here in the state of Texas, of course. If you have any question when it comes to sex, health, you name it, she's here to building with us tonight. And we're talking about some great stuff. Really communicating, being open, being honest. Another thing we want to talk about, and I do believe men should learn how to be kinky, romance. I believe a man should learn this stuff, know this stuff when it comes to pleasing this woman. I think that should be any man. I know my thing is, okay, learn how to be kinky, learn how to be romantic when it comes to it, because I'm single myself, but to that point when I be able to please the woman, whoever I be with, I think that right there is important to me as well also.
Mm-hmm. And with my classes, I talk about how to be sexually confident, how to please yourself, first of all. Because I'm an advocate when it comes to masturbation. So if you know how to please yourself, if you know how to stroke your shaft, the head, the balls, all of that. Then when you are with your partner, you can show her how you like it. You can tell her this is how you like it. So it starts there. When it comes to kink, it's like this umbrella. And so there are different layers to kink. And you can have a kink and not know that was a kink. And so in my classes, I do touch on that. I'm really going to talk more about kink
Okay.
next year. But it's so many different layers to kink. But finding out what your kink is, being able to share that with the person that you are interested in, because they may not know that they have a kink, or they may have a kink that you may find, oh wow, that's like way on to the end of the spectrum. I'm not too familiar with that. But that's the time where the two of you get to learn, each other's kinks, educate yourself, read. Is so much information out here when it comes to the lifestyle as a whole. Then when you break it down, when it comes to kink, what is that kink like? What does that mean? When it comes to BDSM is more than just 50 Shades of Grey. It's more than just that. That's one end of the spectrum.
Right.
And so when it comes to BDSM, like what do those letters mean? When it comes to that, do you like to be restrained? Do you like to be spanked? Do you like pain? You need to, but even before you even get to all of that, you need to ask, what are your health issues? Let's talk about that. Even if you aren't even into kink or BDSM, if I'm dating you and I'm going to have sex with you, I need to know, are you on pressure pills?
Or did
Like,
you
what's your
break
blood pressure like? Do you
food?
have
Oh, and I
diabetes?
want you to do tricks, with a bad hip.
Like, I need to know.
Yeah,
And you should want to know my health, issues as well if I have any. But
right.
that goes back to communication and being honest.
I'm glad we talk about this stuff because this stuff is so important. This stuff we never talked
Mhm.
about growing up. This when it comes to meeting somebody, getting with someone, we get, oh, she look good, he look good, we in love, let's make it happen. But we
That's it.
never talked about this stuff. We never settled the ground surface on health issues. I remember
Mhm.
back in the day, I'm just gonna be honest, I remember back in the day, guys used to say they was not gonna eat pussy. But now that's the most popular thing with me and I. Cause back in the day, me just said, man, I wasn't doing that. But
Mhm.
now it's the most popular thing now amongst guys. Okay, I want to talk about that too. When guys were so ashamed of saying that they didn't want to let nobody know they did that. Because if you did that, you need to talk about you, laugh about you. But now it's a popular thing now. What was the change of the guards on that when it comes to pleasing your woman orally?
Oh wow, I'm 46, so I remember back in the day where it, talking about sex period was very taboo, especially in our community. And so you learn from real sex off HBO. I don't know how old you guys are, but real
I'm
sex was a
40.
thing on HBO. Taxi Cab Confessions was life. Dr. Sue Johansson, oh, and I forget the other lady who talked about sex, but that's how I learned. And I think just over the time, with technology, things being out here in the open, it's become more free, if you will. It's okay to like it now. I remember back in the day, if a girl was to give head, that's not something you did. Oh my goodness, no, you didn't do that. You didn't slob on a knob like corn on a cob. No, 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 no. That's not what you did in the back of the bus. No, 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 no. But now
Funny.
it's okay. My thing is, if you're going to do it, learn. Learn how to do it right. Learn that teeth placement if you're gonna suck this. Learn the importance of having your mouth watery. You know, your mouth doesn't need to be dry if you're sucking on this. When it comes to oral stimulation and pleasure, make sure that your fingernails are manicured if you're gonna finger her. Make sure that your mouth is free from mouth sores or anything like that. So it's the educational side of it is what I really want to talk about. If you're going to wax and shave down there, what does that look like if he's going to be down there, or she's going to be down there for that matter. So all
Yeah.
of these different dynamics is what I truly focus on. Um, when it comes to oral stimulation. But I think just over the course of time, with technology being the way it is, everything really being out there for us to learn more about, I think more people like, hey, I like it, I enjoy it, but now let's learn how to properly do that.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Take it to another level. Advancement. That's what it's all about. Hygiene is important. I know hygiene
I
is
just want to
important.
know real quick, does Daquan speak?
Huh?
I wanted to know, does Daquan speak?
Oh, he speak the coin. You want to ask anything? He just sitting here.
I didn't know. I just asked.
Oh, he just chilling with you. He
I'm good. I'm
Okay.
just listening.
He's just soaking up all his information. That's what he's doing.
Okay.
But that's how
I didn't
about
want to leave him
hygiene.
out the conversation.
Oh, he good. That's how about hygiene. We know hygiene is important. Fellas got to keep the body clean. A woman don't want no stinking man, especially when it comes to intimacy. But hygiene, I know you talk about hygiene a lot. So keeping our body clean, keeping the mouth clean, of course. Just really taking care of that when we take it to a whole nother level when it comes to our partner.
Oh yeah, hygiene is key. So part of classes, I take at least 20 to 30 minutes in the class and we talk about hygiene. And hygiene starts with your diet. What are you eating? You know, another slogan or motto that I have is sex shouldn't leave a bad taste in your mouth. And what I mean by that is if I'm going to suck your jism juice, I don't want to come up like that. Like, I don't want it to taste like a batch of collard greens, turnip greens. It does not need to be salt or tangy. I'm not doing it at all. No, sir, not today.
Wow.
What are you eating? Because we can taste that. If you know your partner, you know if they have had beer, if they are a smoker. When I say smoker, I'm talking about like Newports, Cools, all that. You can taste that. You know, certain foods you should not eat prior to sex, like asparagus, because it's gonna taste differently. It's gonna affect, you know, your jism juice, if you will. So what you eat starts there. Women, what are you eating? Are you staying hydrated? As much as I love my wine, I offset it with water, you know, because that affects the lubrication, you know, it affects how you taste. Medication, you know, women, we can be on medication, an antibiotic for one thing, it can affect our juices in a different way. So do you know what your juices look like, ladies? Is it thick? Is it creamy? Is it chunky? Is it, clear? All of that plays a factor. Does it stink? You know, when you go to the bathroom, even before you get there, what does your body odor smell like down there? You know, the vagina speaks to you, but do you listen?
Or like,
You know, she tells you when she's sick, depressed, happy, sad, anxious. She tells you all of this. Look at those lips. You know, do you have a hand mirror? What does she look like? Is she dry? What do her lips look like? The lips up here, you got lips down there too. So you want to take time out to look at her and see what she's, you know, telling you. Guys, when it comes to your hygiene, when it comes to drinking water, the juices that you drink, are you juicing? You know, that plays a factor in your hygiene as well, because it's going to come out in some form or fashion. When you clean yourself, how do you clean yourself? Do you have two towels? You know, one for your butt, one for your balls. Do you lift up dick, clean it? Do you get the balls? All of that.
Oh, that stuff plays a role. Matter of fact, I got a question too in the comment section. What's up, Kenneth, out of New York City? He says, so what is it supposed to taste like?
What's supposed to taste like? Jism juice or vacuum juice? Like, what are you talking about?
Basically, when you're talking about when you can tell when your guy, what he ate, what he drank, and he asked the question, what's it supposed to taste like?
So at the end of the day, the reality is that it truly doesn't taste like anything, if you will. For a woman, like, no, she's not going to taste like pineapples at the end of the day. It's not going to happen. But you know she tastes bad. For a guy, the only thing I can truly compare it to is like avocados. If you tasted avocados without putting anything on it, it really doesn't have like a true taste, if you will, but it doesn't taste bad, if that makes any sense. But it's kind of like a pungent taste if it tastes bad. It's like some don't taste right, taste bad, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. And so when I'm talking to guys, I ask, well, did you taste yourself? How do you taste? You wondering what I'm tasting like, but did you taste yourself? And the first thing that they do, they're like, oh, no, I'm not tasting myself. Like, that's gay. Well, no, it's not gay.
What?
At
Yeah.
the end of the day, if I suck you and I have your juice on my mouth and I kiss you, you done tasted yourself, okay? So, yeah.
This is the stuff right here. I mean, but this stuff is important. Like I said, never looked at this stuff when it comes to sex. I never looked at it as well. We think, okay, I'm on hard, I'm ready to go, get in the bed, get on top, and that's it. But we never really led to, okay, what can we do to make this thing better? What can we do to make it more pleasurable with one another? Because sex is meaningful. We know sex is something that two partners should enjoy with each other instead of just coming together, okay, we made a baby, but just to be able to enjoy each other on that level with intimacy and stuff like that. And I think that's important, having a healthy sexual relationship. And I know you talked about, I know you have a thing called masturbation Monday. And we know we have these groups, some of these groups out here. We know we have some of these groups out here, and you probably noticed that they tell your guys no fap, no fap, whatever it is, tell guys not to masturbate. But explain that to us so we can understand that when it comes to masturbate, because we know masturbation is part of our nature. It is something that every guy has masturbated. If you say you ain't masturbated, you lying to yourself. But explain masturbation Monday to us.
So, when I evolved with this business, I was like, oh, I need some taglines for each day of the week. So Monday is all about masturbation. Once again, I'm big on education, and so when it comes to masturbation for both men and women, there are different techniques, different ways you can please yourself. But at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is for you to be able to show and tell your partner how you like to be pleased, okay? You know your body better than anyone else. At the end of the day, you should anyway. So when it comes to women and masturbation, there are like all these toys. We have dildos, we have toys for our clitoris, we have all these different stimulators, which is okay. You don't even need a toy at the end of the day. You can get in the shower with a detachable shower head and hit it on the clit. Yeah, it's amazing. Get you a detachable shower head, let the water flow, hit it right on the clit, and there you go. You can use a toothbrush. I made a video with a toothbrush showing you how you can use that for nipple play. Nipple simulation is amazing. There's no penetration involved, but you can simulate your nipples and have a nipple orgasm. It is truly an orgasmic experience, if you will.
That's the question.
Yes.
You're saying that you can teach different ways to have different types of orgasms?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I'll touch on that in a minute, but for like masturbation, like for guys though, it's how you stroke it. I've seen videos where some men are touching their nipples as well because they have nipples too. Men may not be openly expressive of this, but some men have sensitive nipples and that turns them on. And I was with a guy and that was his jam. Okay, you like it, I love it. But yeah, but I've seen it to where this guy, he was touching himself there as he was stroking a shaft. You can do mutual masturbation where you're with your partner and each of you are looking at each other, pleasuring yourself, which is key because it's like, okay, I see how she's touching herself, or I see how he's touching himself. I know we on Facebook, so I don't want Mark to ban us, but like, is he stroking the shaft? How is he stroking the shaft? Is he using his right or left hand? Is he getting to the tip, the head? What is he doing? So you want to, I know you're trying to please yourself, but at the same time, you want to be, aware of what he's doing as well. But when it comes to masturbation, just really educating yourself, taking the time out on a Monday to set the mood listen to music. Sex is all about the five senses. We all learn the five senses back in kindergarten when it comes to hearing. Find that playlist. I'm big on playlists. So each of my classes, I have a playlist for each class. So you want to set the mood with the sounds, the smells. What does your room smell like? Do you have candles? Do you have aromatherapy? What does it smell like? Sight. What does your room look like? Is it inviting for sex? If you got clothes on the bed, the chair, whatever, that doesn't say sex appeal. So what does your space look like when it comes to touch? How do you touch yourself? How do you feel about yourself? You should turn yourself on as you put on lotion or your oil. Taste. What do you taste like? It's nothing wrong, for a woman or a man to taste themselves. Women should use these fingers. Open up those lips. Taste her. What does she taste like? You want him to taste you? Well, you should know what you taste like. So talking about those senses, I got sight, touch, sound, smell, taste. Okay, yeah. When it comes to masturbation Monday, so at least taking the time to pleasure yourself on a Monday.
Yeah, awesome. And I got another what up? I want to give a big shout out to Ross. He's in the comment section. He says, what's your Facebook or Instagram page to be able to follow you, get in contact with you?
So my Instagram is Twila B, and that's TWILA B as in boy .GOODE.
And you are here in DFW. You are here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, of course. Like I said, I think this stuff is very important for all of us to learn. If you're interested in learning this, to be able to schedule class with you to learn the necessary basis of all this stuff that's going on. So I'm very excited about it. I'm going to talk about the excitement. I know, guys, we get excited, we get overexcited. Well, we not can be able to have the erection. How do you teach guys not to be so excited? Because at that time you really want this woman, you're excited, it comes, and then you can't perform. How do you teach guys how to calm themselves down?
And usually, and I want to go back to Amber's comment about orgasms, but like with guys, it's the erection is all about the blood flow. So this is all blood flow right here. And side note, when you're sucking it right, you can feel that vein pulsating when he's getting ready to explode, if you will. But for men, they're very excited. They've been looking at this woman, she's fine, she's just whatever. Now they got her, they're so excited. Bam, just gone. And she's like, what just happened? Like, you was giving me like maybe 2 minutes, 1 minute, what happened? And because we are ready too, naturally, our bodies, she's wet, she's hot. And you feel it, and it's like, oh shit, this shit feels so good. You can't hold it, you can't contain yourself, but it starts here. So, just, now I'm not a guy, but it just starts here at the end of the day. Just
I've been there.
I gotta calm down. Let me take it down a bit. Let me change the position. So, we grown here. Yeah, I've been with a guy, and just like that, he was like, damn, I'm sorry. It's like, okay, it's our first time. But we gonna try this shit again. That's for sure. So let's try it again and let's get it together.
But like I said, every guy, I've been there.
Second time is okay, because the first time is for both parties involved. Everyone is anxious.
Yeah.
Like your mind is running. Like, this dude fine. Like I'm excited. Like, and we're thinking different things too. We really are. We're thinking like, oh my gosh, I hope he doesn't notice my stretch marks, or did I get my toes done? Because then my toes are in the air, my feet are in the air. Did I shave? Like, gosh, I hope I don't sink down there. Like, we're thinking all of these things at the same time. But for us, we're not going to easily get dry. We can stay wet for the most part. But for a guy, he's thinking through all of this, so excited, so pumped up. The blood is like, oh shit. I got too excited. And it can be a natural thing, but what you want to do is here, let me calm down. Let me take my time. Sex is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Let me slow stroke. What am I ramming this up in here for? Like, what is this? Like, she's not going anywhere, you know. Clearly she's not. So let me find a position. Maybe I need to turn her over. Maybe I need to hit it from the back and take my time with it. So you have to tell yourself, you know what, friend, we don't need to rush. We got all night. She fine as hell. I've got her. She not going anywhere. So let me take my time. Let me pull her hair back. Let me slow stroke, if you will. Let me give it to her the way I know I need to. And then, I can release it, whatever. Or if you feel yourself getting truly excited, let me pull out. Let me stop, spread the legs. Let me kiss her down there. Let me eat her out. Let me kiss her neck, whatever. Let me massage her. That is different techniques you can do when you feel yourself getting overly anxious and you feel that you're about to come. Let me try, different positions and ways where I can last longer. Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, because me as a man, that's important to please your lady in the bedroom. And I've been there for every guy. If every guy said they've been there for their line,
Lies.
we get
You can ask
overexcited.
any woman to say, look, you was with that dude the first time, and you was like,
and we all been, and then we had that performance like, dang, why this happened? And do the woman? I know someone may feel some type of way, like, is it me? I'm gonna not be attractive, or all kind of stuff goes through women's head, like, why this dude not having an erection? He's not on hard or anything like that.
so then that's a little bit different. So if he is, it's one thing to, be with this woman and you come early and you can get it back hard again and now y'all going. That's pretty much just natural. You're just overly anxious and excited.
Yeah.
Take a step back, get it together. Now you guys are rocking and rolling. But it's different when you are with the woman and you mentally, you want to hit it, for lack of better terms, you want to be with her, but he's just not cooperating. So you have to ask yourself, what's my diet like? Am I truly stressed?
Mm.
What's my health like? My overall health? What's really going on to where this lack of connection? And so all this month for November, it's National Erectile Dysfunction or Impotency Month. And so I'm really talking about what it means to be impotent, because it's a real thing. It affects men in different stages of their life. And so, but it boils down to health factors, stress, what are you eating? High blood pressure affects blood flow, so all of those different factors. And then, at the end of the day, do you truly like the person that you're about to have sex with? Like maybe she took her clothes off and, her coochie cat was pungent. And you was like, oh, that just turned me off. The coochie cat is pungent and you no longer aroused. Like that's natural. Or you get, ready to eat her out and it's pungent and, that's not turning you on anymore. So it's those, different factors that could, play a role into why you are not stimulated or have an erection. Now, if you're with that person and you guys are dating, you're in a relationship, you're married, once again, as the older that you get, it can affect your erections. Once again, it goes back to if you're on medication. Like I said, stress is a factor. If you have diabetes, if you have some type of physical ailment that can affect your libido, your stamina, all of these different factors play in impotency and erectile dysfunction. But that's a whole different level right there, if you will, that can affect a guy having an erection. For some guys, they may have an erection, but then it doesn't last long. Well, that could be health factors as well. There are cock rings out there that you can place on the cock, and it's like a ring, like this, and you just place it right here to help with an erection. But at the end of the day, what is going on with the blood flow? And it's here. It truly is. It's the same way for a woman. Physically, women, we can be there in the bed with you. Mentally, our mind is elsewhere. We aren't in the moment. That can affect the sex drive as well. That can, truly affect the whole act of sex when with that person. I'm thinking about my kids, my maybe bills, finances, career. Did I take the dog out? Groceries, this, that, and the third. All of this affects us. And so when you're with that person, physically, you're really kind of just going through the motions.
Like I said, there's a whole nother level of stuff right here that you addressing with us tonight. Stuff that's important, stuff that's interesting, of course, stuff that we should want to learn and apply to our own lives. Just be to set the mood right when it comes to intimacy. They like to clear our heads and clear our thoughts and baby, okay, just be in tune and inclined with each other in that moment with no distractions. I know in your classes, I know you have it is like, do you have like questions? And well, when it comes to your clients, you have them put goals in place, what things they like to do. Just really, I look at you, teach us how to be more open with ourselves, not to be so embarrassed and not to have these fears, but to be open with ourselves. Because that's a lot of times we're not open with ourselves. You don't hear people, I heard some today, everybody wants to reinvent themselves, but we don't sit and learn ourselves.
For yourself.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. The way the class is structured is, like I said, the first 35, 40 minutes, it's really a coaching session. And I have like a questionnaire that I just put out on my website not too long ago. But when you book a class, I ask, well, what are your 3 sexual goals? What do you want to learn? Just overall, what do you want to learn? What challenges are you facing? So you have to be open and honest so we can talk about these things. It could be maybe you had some childhood trauma. I've run into a lot of that where, women say that they experienced childhood trauma. It could be molestation or sexual trauma, whatever that is. That plays out through your sexual relationships. Even if you go to therapy, you still, some form of fashion, you carry that with you. And does your partner know that? And how do they react and receive what you've been through? What triggers, do you have, if you have any? I talk about, I did a class in Atlanta at Sex Down South talking about being intimate with a chronic illness. Do you have sickle cell anemia? Do you have diabetes? Do you have lupus? What does that look like in terms of having a healthy sex life? Because all these different factors play a part in that. I need to know these things. So as we're talking, I can, find ways to help you have a healthy sex life as well. Even in dating, if you have a chronic illness, when is the time to tell this person? Is this, how this person going to receive this message? Is this something that they can deal with? Those factors play a huge part when it comes to having a healthy relationship as well as a healthy sex life. So, all of these areas are of concern are addressed in my coaching classes as well. And so it's coaching at the beginning, and then we go into the actual sex class. And classes consist of how to ride, how to eat, cunnilingus, fellatio, how to give head. We talk about sensual touch as a class, kink, BDSM. And so all these classes are for couples and singles as well. I have private classes. A lot of times people don't want to be with a group. I get it. So I have private classes, and then I have classes like for groups as well.
Hey,
And all
awesome.
classes are downtown Dallas.
Okay, awesome. Like I said, she's here in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, of course. So if you're interested in learning about the art, the intimacy of sex and learning this stuff, hey, it's a great time to learn a lot of great stuff, of course. Invest in yourself. I look at it as an investment. Investing in yourself. I say being born again. We learning life. We're relearning life all over again. And you have teachers like yourself who teaches stuff like this. Because this kind of stuff we never thought about growing up. It's because we just thinking, take our clothes off, get in the bed, do our thing, and that's it. But not learning the necessary precautions, the necessary steps to be able to perform these things when it comes to our partner and our mate. You mentioned something about our health. You know, we know high blood pressure does play a role in that. We know that. You know, some guys just say, I just take Viagra and Cialis and
Or those
that's
gas station pills. What are you doing?
it.
Leave that alone. Leave those gas station pills alone. Please stop. Just stop.
So do guys come in and tell you that when they in your class that, hey, I'm taking Viagra, I'm taking Cialis? Have anybody brought that up to you before any
I've
male?
had maybe like one or two that have said that, and that was for various health reasons. I know one client, he had thyroid issues, so that affected pretty much everything. And so we talk about that, but that's something that I need to know. Um, you know, one of your questions that you had asked me earlier before the show was started was the difference between a sex coach and a sex therapist. So right now, as a sex coach, I am able to I can't take insurance at the end of the day. That's the biggest difference between a coach and a therapist. Therapist, I would be able to take insurance. So that's like the biggest thing. But as far as a coach is concerned, I can help you achieve your sexual goals and desires. When it comes to therapy, if you have like sexual trauma that you are dealing with, I'm not able to um, give advice, if you will, on that issue. Now, I'm going to get my master's. That's what I'm going to school for, so I can become a marriage and family therapist. So give me about 3 years. Then I can help you out with that. But for right now, I can only chime in so much when it comes to certain issues. But as far as a coach, I can give you the necessary skills and tools that you need to have an overall pleasurable and healthy sex life. But once I become a therapist, I can take insurance and I can dig deeper into certain issues. So yeah. So yeah,
I
so that's like the biggest thing. I wanted to address that as well.
Are your classes open to teenagers?
So not last year, no, earlier this year, yeah, I started a class called Good Girls. And so I had like one or two classes, and it was where it was designed for ladies, women, young ladies, young girls, 13 to 18, and wanted to talk about hygiene, talk about your menstrual cycle, talk about how your body is changing to become a young woman, and talk about sex education. And so I'm going to revisit that for 2023 because I feel that it is very much needed for our young ladies in
About
today's
yeah,
society.
yeah.
Because just thinking back, my mom didn't talk to me about sex at all. Like, no, we didn't have that conversation.
No,
So,
mine
how do you
either.
feel, as your body is changing?
Right.
Your body is changing. Now you're getting this unwanted attention. How do I handle that? You know,
And body
I
what
didn't,
about my
at
job.
the end of the day, I
Yeah.
don't, I don't, I'm pretty much the same. Like, but for some of my classmates, they were like fully developed. And I'm like,
Right.
well, my boob's not big. Like, but nowadays, like girls, just their outwardly appearance is very much developed, if you will. And so, how do you handle that? Because
Yeah.
physically you look at them and they look very mature, but mentally they're young girls. And so,
Right.
how do they, handle that? How as far as their body is changing? And so, I am going to address that. But yeah, it's called Good Girls, and we talk about body image, how you feel about yourself, affirmations, meditation. I think it's a good thing, that you should do that at 13 and 14. And how do you handle receiving maybe unwanted attention? But most importantly, for the parents that come, how do you talk to your child about what they're going through? How do you have that conversation? So I talk to the moms as well, or the dads that show up. How are you talking to your child? And what are you saying? Because if you weren't educated, then how are you teaching them?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
thing right there. So
Mhm.
yeah. And now that everything is out in the open for them to learn and be
They're,
exposed to, there
yeah.
isn't um, taxi cab confessions anymore. Everything is on YouTube, and you can Google it, and so everything is out there in the open. So I'm glad that you brought that up. I'll start talking about that again in 2023.
Man, it's some awesome stuff. Like I said, I'm enjoying this conversation. You raise some energy, you bring that vibe, but this stuff that we should know and be addressed. Because you really helped us out here tonight, Twila. You really helped us out here tonight with this information that we can take and apply to our lives, that we can become better when it comes to these areas. You mentioned like talking about health and see, like this stuff we never really talked about when it comes to when a guy comes to meeting a woman. We never talk about all this stuff. We never talk about the health thing. That stuff don't even come across our mind. We just come about how fine she is and she looking good, but we never sit and talk about this stuff. So I'm glad that this stuff is coming out now.
Mm-hmm.
That we can sit and talk about these issues. And then I know you said the month of November is the erectile dysfunction, the ED. We know that's very common among men.
Mm-hmm.
How can as men be able to reverse that? Because a man's nature is to be able to please his woman sexually and to be able to penetrate her and to reverse that. And how can we reverse that so we could get better?
Well, when it comes to a man pleasing his woman, there's so many different facets and areas that he can please his woman. And it doesn't just have to be penetration. He can please her by touch. Massage is great. He can please her by just the art of communication, sense of humor. Just it's the little things that women truly, appreciate. It doesn't always have to be this sexual gratification, if you will. Sex is great, but it's the little things that a guy does that turns a woman on at the end of the day. So when it comes to pleasing a woman, it could be just the fact of listening to her, supporting her. Um, when it comes to physical intimacy, touching her, knowing where to touch her. It could be the fact of, um, hell, giving the kids a bath so she doesn't have to do it.
Right.
Little things like that can please a woman. Now, in terms of the actual act itself, penetration doesn't always have to be involved. Women can have various orgasms. Like I said, nipple play is one of them. Knowing how to touch and tweak her nipples, knowing how to kiss on her nipples. When it comes to clitoral stimulation, knowing how to pleasure her clitoris, knowing how to use his fingers on how to pleasure her vulva. Um, that's orgasms there. Now, when you want to talk about penetration, there's anal penetration. Once again, that's a whole different conversation there. There's vaginal penetration when you're hitting the G spot and you can make her climax there. But it's so many different avenues when it comes to pleasuring your partner. It's the same for a guy as well. Women, we want to please our man as well. And that can come in the form of when he comes home, not nagging him to death when he comes home. It can be in the form of listening to him as well when he comes home, hearing about his day. All of that is a form of, different ways to please him. cooking maybe his favorite food, or running his, maybe if he takes a bath, his bath water, whatever it is, knowing your partner is how to please them overall. So you have to be able to, one, communicate that connection that is there. That is how you can please each other. So it's different ways that you can explore pleasure with your partner, and penetration is just one of those acts. And when it comes to having a healthy relationship.
Yeah, I believe in that. I believe in the whole pie being put together. Like I said, making her feel special. Even though it's not all about sex, but making her feel special.
Mhm.
Just like if she at work and you off that day, making everything right for when she get to the house. Make sure you have bath water ready for her, dinner ready for her, make her feel good, make her feel relaxed. Um, Little stuff, massages. Do you teach massages as well? Some guys probably don't know how to do it. Some probably don't know how to massage, but is that implemented in your coaching as well? Teaching how to do body massages and stuff like that?
So with my sensual touch, I really don't focus on massage. I talk about it. I'm not a massage therapist, so
Mhm.
nope, I don't do that. Um, and I don't do prostrate massages either. I had one person ask me, do I do that? I don't do that. I'm not touching your prostrate.
Mm.
But I can refer you to someone who does massage therapy or sensual massages. With my sensual touch class, I really focus on knowing where and how to touch your partner using different tools, such as fingers, feathers. I teach you how to use floggers. When it comes to taking away the sense of sight, that's key when it comes to touch, because your partner doesn't know what to expect. So taking away the sense of sight for that anticipation. And then I also teach you on how to use ice for ice play, and candles for hot wax for wax play.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh wow, there's a lot of stuff that you really like to learn. It's like this is amazing. It really is. I mean, and talking about this is very good stuff. Phoenix, have anything you want to add? Scott, see you got a smile on your face.
Oh, no, I'm just intrigued by the conversation and I do think people need to take the course just because you can be in a situation and be unhappy, even if you have a partner or you don't.
Mhm.
Um, so I appreciate you being out here in the DFW Metroplex doing what you're doing. I very much do. I think it's they don't teach you that in sexual education. So
Mhm.
for the kids to have, I'll definitely tap in with you for my daughters and things,
Yeah.
because I have, my daughters are, my older ones are very different, so they deal with that. Well, this one's really skinny, well, I'm thicker, and just,
Mhm.
how they don't talk to me about anything. You don't talk to parents about stuff like that,
No, they don't. They'll talk to me before they talk to you.
I don't know anything about their masturbation or anything, or
Mhm.
even when I try to tell them don't, because I don't believe in using like summer's eve and things like that. And how does that product respond to your body type thing, and any product, because there's certain soaps and different things that respond to your body differently. That yeah, no, I appreciate you being here. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, thank you. And I really talk about, like you said, the hygiene, but the sexual confidence, body image is key.
yeah.
And that is in all areas of our lives for men and women. Women, we feel insecure if we haven't addressed these body concerns, or may not even be concerns, but we think it's a concern.
Or you're always
As
thinking,
you get older, yeah, I don't like this, I don't like that, I'm self-conscious about this, I'm insecure about that. Boys, men go through the same thing, you
and you
know,
wonder
and
working.
yeah, like it could be I'm losing my hair for men, or I
Are you
have
thinking?
like a dad bod or whatever. Now I had a stomach, or
Yeah.
I thought my dick was big. It's not big, but what is big? Like at the end of the day, can you please the woman that you're with, or the guy that you're with,
Right.
for women, we're thinking about like, oh, my stretch marks or whatever it is, my titty's not big enough, they lopsided, just all this kind of stuff. So body image is key. And so I do focus on that as well.
Awesome. And like I said, the I know the health, exercise, and so you implement that too in your coaching, get exercise in, getting that physical activity in, because we know that does play a role as well also.
Hmm. Yeah, so with my classes, especially for how to ride, before we start riding, we do exercises. We do squats, we do yoga poses, we do stretches, because if you want to stay on top, you need to be comfortable. You need to have that energy going so you can stay on top. You don't need to have, necessarily Meg the Stallion, but you need to be able to enjoy the ride while you are on top. And so, working that lower body area is key when you are riding in different positions. So yeah, so exercise is key. I talk about that as well.
And like I said, I'm glad that this stuff is being talked about. That stuff that, like I said, once again, learn, really learn, to get some coaching, to get some education behind it, because we don't know everything. That's why it's always good to be open-minded. But for so long, we were so sheltered and closed-minded to a lot of stuff that when we get exposed to this stuff, we don't know what to do. We don't know how to handle it. It's like, oh my God, what I'm gonna do now? But to be able to sit and say, okay, let me sit and learn everything I need to learn now. So it was not, like I mentioned earlier, don't worry about the future, correct the present, because we correct our present, the future's gonna be taken care of, because if we don't correct it now, we're just gonna repeat the same thing in the future. So I love the part about us becoming open-minded, not to be ashamed, not to be embarrassed. I know that does play a role for some, the embarrassment, the shame of to be able to talk about this when it comes to our significant others, to be able to have these open conversations. I'm just gonna go biblical for a moment. The Bible said Adam and Eve was naked and they was unashamed. You know what I'm saying? They were both naked in each other present, but they was not ashamed of each other. And that's what I'm getting out of it now, to be naked and not ashamed. They talk about this stuff and not to feel ashamed. Well, I don't want to talk about this, I'm scared. But they talk about this stuff. And you mentioned something about the trauma. We know girls have experienced trauma. You mentioned something where a woman could have been sexually assaulted. That's some deep conversation too we could be able to talk about. Being open about if a person been sexually assaulted, or if a guy may be sexually assaulted by other guys, or having this conversation for the person knows what's going on. How do you help people with them type of conversations and not to be embarrassed to talk about the stuff?
So when it comes to any type of sexual trauma, they will share that. And so I can give them as much coaching techniques or advice, if you will, when it comes to that part. Because I'm not a therapist right now, I can only talk about it to a certain extent. And so what I do, if I know that, or they share it with me that they have experienced sexual trauma and they have not overcome that area of their life, then I will refer them to someone who specializes in that, because right now that's not something that I'm able to speak on.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of be mindful of that.
Right.
When it comes to being open and honest about any other areas of their life, then it's where we have this conversation and we sit down and we're talking, and I have couples face each other and say, okay, I want you to look at your partner and say, this is how you're feeling. This is what you're experiencing. This is what you want to learn. Now, as a person receiving that, I'm telling them, you need to, once again, look them directly in the eye, pay attention to how you're looking at them, your body language, and be mindful not to speak. Okay. And then that is how I coach them and teach them on the art of listening and having a conversation. And then I also tell them, you need to be open and truly honest with what it is that you want to learn and why do you want to learn that. could be where you want to learn more about kink or the lifestyle. You don't want your partner to be like, well, who did you hear that from? Like, are you cheating on me? I don't have anything to do anything about that. I just want to learn. And so how you have that conversation. So having the couple sit down, talk to each other face to face, paying attention to how they talk, paying attention to how they receive the message is what I'm coaching them on, and helping them to be like, okay, it's okay to be open and honest. This is a safe space. The classes that I have, where I have my classes, are, like I said, downtown Dallas. It is a sensual, very erotic, safe space. And so it's where customers, clients, they come in and they just feel very welcome there. They feel open. They feel like there's no judgment there. And so for them, it's just natural for them to open up. Something else that I do is, when it comes to having a healthy sex life, I will go out and help design your sex room. And so, what does your room look like? What message does it convey? And so I'll go out there and, to your home, and I can help design your sex room for you.
Okay.
It comes to, creating that ambiance, if you will. We may look at erotic arts to put on the wall. We may look at how is your lighting, in the room. We may look at what type of furniture you need to order for pleasurable sex, because there's a lot of different furniture apparatuses or pieces out there that will help you to have a more pleasurable sex life as well.
Okay.
So yeah, I help with all of that.
Man, awesome. It's some awesome stuff. So furniture, pictures. And I heard this information before, so that just confirmation what you said. Having the place good, having everything on point. So I like that. I really do. I really do like that. And I know you have classes. I know you are here in Dallas Fort Worth as well. Like I said, so better sit and learn for those who are interested. And we know those that's tuning in, those listening, that how can they be, if they, let me ask you this, if they're out of town, how do you still accept classes? I know you may do it like virtual classes or stuff like that if they're out of town.
Yeah, so some of the classes I have are virtual, and I do travel. So, depending on where you are, that is a big focus for 23 for me, is to be able to travel more, to go on tour, if you will, to share, my educational expertise with other people in different cities. So yeah, if they are interested in a class, the majority of my classes are held virtually as well. But if they would like for me to come out to their city, that's, we can definitely talk about that too.
And awesome stuff, like I said. And also, hey, I'm telling everybody, you have to invest. You have to put your money up as well to better do this. Don't look for freebies. If you
No, it's
want,
really investing in your overall
I
sexual
agree.
health.
Exactly.
It is an
Exactly.
investment, because relationships are key. And so, people are out here, they saying that the dating pool has pee in it, you know, but, what are you investing in yourself for a healthy relationship?
That's what I'm talking
And
about.
so the couples that I meet, they really are, wanting to get the relationship on track, or wanting the relationship to stay on track. So making that investment, getting something out of it, just walking away with these key nuggets, these takeaways, this homework assignment to truly have a healthy relationship is key.
Yeah, that's it. And I can tell anybody that's listening tonight that you're very interesting. Get with Twilia as well. Get a session booked with her, whether you're a couple, whether you're single. Just some great information for those who are listening. If you're serious about it, the old saying is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Is it for everybody? It's not for everybody, but it's some people that really want to do this, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about. Learning, like I said, it's like being born again. This is me, like being born again. You relearning everything because a lot of stuff we was not taught. Remember the Bible said, he said, my people was what? Destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Why? Because they rejected it. See, this has come because we've been destroyed for lack of knowledge. Just think about how God has blessed us now to be able to get this knowledge right now. So we take it and we apply it, and it's here. And like I said, invest yourself. Just like we invest into them Jordans and everything else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Take the money that you make. And I tell anybody that's listening, if you want to invest in yourself, yes, it costs money. Mentorship costs money. What Twila is doing, it takes money to do these things. If you want to pick up some extra hours at your job, work some overtime, find ways to get the money up to get these things. And I looked at your website, and the prices you have is very good prices, and it's well worth the investment. You know what I'm saying? To be able to sit down and learn this. Like I said, I'm interested and I'm willing to learn all this stuff because I'm in a makeover. I call this stuff not reinventing myself, but learning from it. So I'm very excited to be able to connect with you more on this, to be able to plug in myself. And I said it today on the show, be able to plug in myself on it because this stuff I really want to learn in my own life. So I'm excited about it. So once again, plug in. How can people get in contact with you? How can they reach out to you? Because I know probably after the night, I know a lot of people probably going to be plugging you after the night show, want to know, how can I get plugged in? How can I get involved with this? So go ahead.
So yeah, they can follow me on Instagram at Twila, TwilaB.Goode. And they can follow me on there. Go to my website at TwilaBGoode.com. And there you can subscribe to the blog. And so I'll have like various blog posts for sex tips. Like I said, this month is all about men's health when it comes to impotency and erectile dysfunction. So really focusing on that. And then the classes are on there as well. And it really is an investment. It is a lot that I put into the classes. And what you get from the class as well. So it's a mixture of coaching and class exercises or demonstrations and tips at the same time. So yeah, that's how you can follow me. Like I said, I do speaking engagements and I do bachelor rep parties. So yeah, but the classes are held downtown in Dallas at what's called the Kinky Red Room.
And awesome. And I'm really a little comment. Big shout out to my boy Ken out of NYC, New York City. He said, she said, you're awesome. He said, you're a blessing, man, to many relationships. He said, God bless you.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Like I said, man, plug in. I know I'm plugged in. I'm looking forward to taking one of them classes myself that I really want to learn. I'm all about educating myself. I read this post. It says, formal education will get you a living, but self-education will bring a fortune. So I'm looking at this as a fortune to me, and I know many others may feel the same way, to be able to learn this stuff. And I'm very excited. And I looked at your website, Twila, and your classes are and these not no short classes, ladies and gentlemen. This not no 30-minute session. This is like what, 2 hours?
It's 2 hours. And so I have it broken down on there how it's accoladed. So it's like, 30 to 45 minutes, like I said, of coaching, 50 minutes of the actual tips and techniques. And then like the last 20 minutes, we're focusing on your diet because it's very important. And then I'm starting to have like goodie bags, if you will, like little swag bags, taste of sex bags. I do provide food and I provide wine. Now, if you want to drink something stronger than that, that's on you. But, I do provide that because at the end of the day, we're talking about a sensitive topic. And so you need to be comfortable. You need to be relaxed. And so I find that having food, helps relax people, as well as a little bit of adult beverages, if you will. And so that just makes for a great experience. And it's called the Twila experience. And it's a reason for that because it truly is an overall experience. And so at the end of the day, I really want you to walk away with feeling really good about yourself, feeling good about the relationship that you're in, and truly having a pleasurable sex life. And then the space where I have my classes is very different. If you go to my Instagram page, I do have like snippets of the actual setting. So we aren't in a like a regular hotel room or a conference room. It's truly a different type of environment. It's very, very, very sensual. It's erotic art on the walls. It's very erotic. Um, we have a lot of toys there to use. It's a different type of atmosphere, and so all of that plays a part in the experience as well. So it is truly an investment. It is worth it. Trust me. Yeah. So yeah.
It is, ladies and gentlemen, it is worth it. And like I said, I booked one. I know I booked a session. With
Yes,
Twila.
you did.
Yeah, I
We may
did
have
book
to
the
go live with your session. We have to record your session.
but like I said, I'm looking forward to it because ain't no shame in my
Yeah.
game. I want to learn this stuff. If you ashamed, then that's on you. I want to learn. I'm excited about learning because, like I said, it's about being born again. Not only that, what's the most important thing I've been talking about? Loving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Invest in yourself. Believe in yourself. Let's break that old mindset, break that old habit, and embrace who you are. Don't reinvent yourself. Learn yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We hear people, I want to reinvent myself, but do you know yourself?
Oh yeah.
We got to know ourselves. We got to learn who we are because we look at our handprint, our thumbprint, whatever you want to call it. Everybody's different, but we have to really tap into who we really, truly are. And like I said, thank you, Swallow, for hanging out with us tonight.
Yes.
Thank you, Dee, for hanging out with us. Also with Phoenix as well. I know her phone probably went dead, but hanging out with us as well with the questions. Very excited. You're welcome to be back with us again. And we
Oh,
love to have
yeah.
you back on here again. I know we do this thing called King's Mentality, where we have guys on here hanging out with us. We talk about a lot of men stuff, but we love to have like the women sometimes include as yourself to help bring the expertise so we can have these successful relationships. Forget all these what people say on the outside world. You know, all relationships have problems. Boom, dad, we're gonna fix this mess. We're gonna have
Yeah.
successful marriages, successful relationships, successful families. That's what it's all about. Kenna said he want to join us next time. Big shout out to
Yeah.
Kenny.
I would like to say that I do have my show on Instagram. It's A Taste of Twilight After Dark.
Okay.
And it is every Monday from 8 to 9. And so, like, you can go back and look at some older clips from last month. I was talking about kink, and I talked to various people who are in the kink lifestyle, and from Chicago, North Carolina, and locally. And so every Monday I have a different subject so that I'm going to be talking about. And so, like I said, for the month of November, it's really talking about men's health, really talking about, like I said, erectile dysfunction, pleasing a man. All of that will be for the month of November, and it's on Instagram. Mondays
And
from 8 to 9, A Taste of Twilight After Dark.
cool. And I know, babe, check that out as well. Also, Twila, I'm gonna let you know, D right here, he's gonna be supporting you, and he's gonna take everything that you got posted and he's gonna
Okay.
share it with everybody. Matter of fact, D, go ahead. I know you've been sitting back soaking up all this knowledge, this fun. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience. Let everybody know who you are, because everybody wanna know who he is, who he just sitting there just being all quiet. So go ahead, D, introduce yourself to the audience.
How y'all doing? My name is Daquan. I'm with Answer Communications. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna support you. You don't have to ask, and it's free. Definitely $1 million conversation to walk away from. I did have a question though. I
Yeah.
only got time, but
Go ahead. This is my
this
show.
guy is super excited, and he do fumble.
Mhm.
What can both parties do to kind of rekindle, get it back? Because you obviously got that far liking each other. So it's like,
Mhm.
what do you do to kind of get back that spark again?
So are you referring to like the first interaction with sex and
Yes.
He
Yeah.
comes early or?
No, like he's just super excited and he actually just don't get up because the girl is there, but he just
Okay.
maybe a million things in his head.
So he's too excited to where he doesn't get an erection?
Right.
Okay. And so for that, oh wow, it's really because naturally you're gonna feel embarrassed
Mhm.
and she's gonna be looking at you like, okay, do you do this all the time? And so it's one of those things where in that moment, truly have the conversation and say, look, I'm just really into you, really digging you, feeling you, whatever that looks like or sounds like. And so, you want to try other ways for him to have an erection. Now, at the same time, you got to know who you with too. So if she is understanding, because a woman is going to understand at the end of the day, a woman will truly understand the male, the male's anatomy and what's going on. And so she will be willing, if she's digging you, she will be willing to try and get it hard. Maybe she will, give you oral pleasure. Maybe you guys just sit and talk and just learn each other a little bit more. Maybe take a step back and take a break and then start kissing. Maybe a massage is needed. Maybe you simply find other ways to be intimate with each other to get his arousal back again. But it really starts with who are you with, and truly having a conversation within the moment. And it could be where maybe you were stressed out from earlier in the day. So the subconscious is huge. So, you could be not thinking about it, but your subconscious is thinking about other things. And so maybe during that time, you do need to take a step back to refocus, regroup, and then, find other ways to stimulate each other for pleasure. Or maybe just come back and revisit the next day. Doesn't
Hmm.
have to be, within that moment. But like the key takeaway in that particular setting is to have the conversation, to have an understanding partner that you're with, you
Yeah.
know, because like I said, it could be very natural. It's not uncommon. But if she's like, oh shit, like this dude here, he can't get up, maybe you need to revisit who you're with. Whereas, another woman could be like, hey, look, I get it. I understand this is our first time that we are going to have sex. So maybe we can try something else. So what turns you on? She could ask that. What turns you on? And then you respond and say, well, maybe you should touch it here or stroke it here. Or she could say, well, you know what? Maybe we should just, do something else and we, can get together later on tonight, what have you. But it takes an understanding person to have that adult conversation. Okay. But
That's
the
it.
conversation needs to be had.
And that's what's I'm reading another comment too. Um, Shay Barron said, create a comfortable space for the honest conversation. I agree with that. You gotta create that atmosphere so you can feel relaxed and loose and they say let your hair down. I know
Yeah.
we pressing for time. I know this is a great conversation. Those that's watching us on Facebook Live right now, get the stars. I mean, I said the stars. Get the hearts up, get the thumbs up, share with everybody. And by the way, I am monetized here on Facebook now. So if you're watching us right now, you're gonna see where it says support Walking This Ways podcast, and you're gonna see a star. So click that star. You click that star, of course, get money for the podcast. So I'm very excited about that to be monetized as well. If y'all want to hear great conversation like this here on the podcast, let us know. I believe, like the book of James says, it's your faults one to another, then pray that you may be healed. This kind of stuff we need to talk about. We need to be open, have these hefty dialogues all the time. Just imagine how great relationships will be. Just imagine how the divorce rate can go down if we start having these type of conversations. And don't be ashamed. And like I said, invest. And like I said, if you check out Twili's website, the classes are reasonable. They're reasonable price as well. So don't say, oh, that's how that is really not expensive at all. I'm telling you. Because I said I did it, I signed up for it, and I invested because I'm believing investing in who? Me, Furman. I'm believing investing in me. It's all about me. So I could be better. So be a better you. So Twila, you have any final remarks you want to leave here with
Oh,
the audience?
wow. I guess the three final remarks or takeaways I can say is this is first of all, healthy relationships, including sex, if you will, starts with communication. And communication means, how you are receiving the message, how you articulate the message. Number two is to be open and honest with yourself. Self-talk is key. How do you speak life into yourself every day, throughout the day? Saying those affirmations on loop throughout the day just changes your whole energy, just changes the vibe. And number three is that, healthy relationships, they truly exist. They really do. They truly do exist. But the relationship starts with you.
And awesome. They know what I'm gonna say, Twila. I'm gonna say you the GOAT. I'm gonna call you
Oh,
the
okay.
GOAT. I'm giving you roses while you're alive. People do that when you're paid. Let's give people their roses while they're alive and the work that you're doing, because it takes a special interview as yourself to doing what you're doing, to basically
Oh,
invest, do this research, to present your game plan, your blueprint to those who are willing to learn. It's like you have the successful, it's like here, you've been the head coach, you got the successful blueprint to help you win championships. Who wants to win championships in life? This is your opportunity to get these championships in life. Be your franchise, be the face of your franchise, get great coaching as well. So we thank you again. And as I give you roses to you're the GOAT, I'm gonna tell you that
thank
here on the
you.
podcast. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm very excited to be able to interact with you, connect with you again short soon. Be able to interact with you finally in person so to learn this lot of stuff. So
Yes,
I'm
I'm
excited
ready for
about
your
it.
class. Yes.
I'm
Daquana,
looking.
you gonna come to a class too?
Oh, you gotta unmute
Oh,
yourself,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah, if I can get there and make one, I would. I definitely would.
Yay.
It's
Yeah.
like the brother say, it's about relearning yourself, having
It
love for
is.
yourself.
Yeah. So come out and come to a class and see what it's like. It's truly, I like to call it the Twilight experience because it is completely different. Mhm.
That's it. And also, Kenneth said in the comment section, he said, Charlotte is the boat, the best of all time. That's from Kenneth in New York
Oh.
City, New York. So, man, y'all like I said, y'all have a great night. Like I said, hey, hit that star here on the podcast. Every time I go live, you're going to see that star. Hit that star. Support the podcast. Hit that star. Facebook pay me for it. So that's what it's all about, man. It's all about being a better you. And before we go off the air tonight, remember the graveyard. Everybody had one thing in common. They thought they were going to have tomorrow, and they didn't see tomorrow. Let's live life like it's our last. And by the way, if you take your favorite drink tonight, wine, whatever you drink, look yourself in the mirror, tell yourself, I love you. Tell yourself, I got your back. Tell yourself, we're going to make this. Tell yourself, I'm handsome. Tell yourself, I'm beautiful. Tell yourself, I'm sexy. Tell yourself, I'm gorgeous. Tell yourself that I am going to win. I will win. I must win. Love yourself. And like the Bible said, David had to encourage himself. Encourage yourself. Talk to yourself. Communicate with yourself. That's why I said that earlier. It's all about communicating with yourself.
It really is. It really, it truly is. How do you
So
speak life into yourself?
that's it. And what the Bible say, death and life is the power of the tongue, right? You should eat the fruit thereof. So if you speak in death, you're going to reap the benefit of it. If you speak in life, you reap the benefit of it. So y'all have a great night. Enjoy your wins tonight. Be productive. And by the way, if you're interested, give a try on these classes that they're going to be start booking up really fast, because we already in the 11th month. December's open. People,
Yes.
Christmas coming up, Thanksgiving coming up, Black Friday, we're going to cake. Take that Black Friday money, invest. Take some of that Christmas money, invest in yourself. Don't worry about the gifts. Invest in yourself. Them gifts could wait. That just means do what you want to do, but
Yeah.
invest in yourself. Let's be better, everybody. Y'all have a great night. I'll see y'all here next Tuesday night here on Walking His Ways Impact with Podcast broadcasting from Dallas Fort Worth area. Peace, everybody.
Bye.